What is happening in Iran right now is no longer just a protest, with the internet cut, phones silenced, and journalists locked out. Fragments of footage reveal burning streets, body bags, and hospitals described as war zones. Human rights groups speak of thousands dead. Iranian security forces are accused of firing directly at demonstrators. The world is struggling to see clearly, but one thing is certain: Iran is facing its bloodiest unrest in decades. And the question now is not whether the situation is spiraling, but how far the regime is willing to go to survive. As demonstrators in Iran continue for longer and longer, the full scale of the bloody protests is becoming increasingly clear. Although only limited footage is still emerging and phone calls are barely possible, the scarce information that does come out offers a clearer picture of the violence the regime uses against its own people. Verified footage shows hundreds of demonstrators on the streets of various Iranian cities. Buildings are on fire, and body bags can be seen lying in the streets. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk speaks of hundreds of deaths. News agency Reuters, citing an Iranian official, reports that the death toll is higher, around 2,000. According to the official, the dead include both Iranian government officials and civilians. A BBC correspondent also says he can state with certainty that the death toll must be in the thousands. HRANA, human rights activists in Iran, a US-based human rights organization, likewise reports more than 2,000 verified deaths. The exact death toll cannot be independently verified. There is no free press in Iran, and foreign journalists are unable to enter the country. A major telecommunications and internet blackout remains in place. It is nearly impossible to paint a reliable picture of the current situation inside the country. Because of the internet shutdown, it is difficult for media outlets to verify when photos and videos were taken. Images often only appear online much later. UN High Commissioner Turk says he is shocked by the increasing violence used by Iranian security forces against demonstrators. This cycle of horrific violence cannot continue any longer, a spokesman said on his behalf. It is not the first time the regime in Iran killed thousands of its own people. In the summer of 1988, thousands of political prisoners across Iran disappeared and were secretly executed, following a direct order from Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Most victims were young men and women imprisoned solely for their political beliefs or nonviolent activities. After prisons were suddenly locked down and family contact cut off, rumors of mass executions emerged. From late 1988 onward, authorities informed families that their relatives had been put to death, but denied them bodies, graves, or truthful explanations. The killings were carried out by secret death commissions that conducted brief, arbitrary interrogations with no legal process or right to appeal. Prisoners were often executed based on whether they renounced their political beliefs or religious views. Supporters of the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran, an Iranian leftist dissident organization, were primarily targeted, but other leftists, women, and Kurdish opposition members were also executed or tortured. For over 3 decades, Iranian authorities have concealed the truth, falsified death certificates, destroyed mass grave sites, and harassed families seeking answers. Leaks in 1989, 2000, and 2016, including Khomeini's secret fatwa and audio recordings of officials, confirmed the strategic nature of the killings. Many alleged perpetrators have since held senior government positions. Amnesty International's extensive investigation concludes that these acts constitute crimes against humanity. The exact death toll is unknown, but estimates go as high as 30,000. Amnesty International wrote the following on the death commissions that operated back then. The death commissions bore no resemblance to a court, and their proceedings were summary and arbitrary in the extreme. They operated outside any existing legislation and were not concerned with establishing the guilt or innocence of defendants in relation to any internationally recognized criminal offense. There was no possibility of appeal at any point during the process. The prisoners were asked if they were prepared to express repentance for their past political beliefs and activities and denounce their political groups in writing. In some cases, they were also asked if they were prepared to execute or inflict harm on fellow dissidents. I read that since 2016, the names of nearly 100 Death Commission members have been revealed. Many still hold senior positions in the Iranian judiciary or government and may be involved in the current killings on the streets of the Iranian cities. US President Donald Trump continues, like many other officials, to speak out about the situation in Iran. I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too, he said last week. In a post on his own platform, Truth Social, Trump said that Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I have cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. What does he exactly mean with that? Help is on its way? Will the US invade, attack certain government positions, or something else? The United States has called on American citizens in Iran to leave the country now, overland, via countries such as Armenia or Turkey. Otherwise, Americans in Iran are advised to seek a safe location with supplies of medication, water, and food, and to avoid the demonstrations. Trump said he would impose 25% tariffs on countries that continue to do business with Iran. An Iranian doctor working in London is trying to stay in contact with his network of doctors in Iran. The BBC reports that this normally worked well, but that contact is now impossible. The last message the doctor received read, "In most hospitals, it's like a war zone. We are short on supplies." Several days ago, it became clear that hospitals are being overwhelmed with dead and wounded patients. A hospital worker in Tehran described very horrible scenes, saying there were so many wounded and that around 38 people died, many as soon as they reached the emergency beds, direct shots to the head of the young people to their hearts as well. Many of them didn't even make it to the hospital. Iranian doctor Kaivan Mirhadi, based in the United States, said he had seen footage of highly targeted sniper fire. He claimed the security forces shoot to kill. There's an x-ray of an individual with the bullet inside their head that my contact sent me. Since this weekend, the situation is said to have become even more intense. The doctor thinks the Iranian authorities have given the green light this weekend to simply shoot people. What we are seeing today in Iran is not unprecedented. In 1988, tens of thousands of political prisoners were executed in secret, their bodies hidden, their families silenced. The same state uses the same methods, but now in the open. Today's protesters know their history because in Iran, when the power feels threatened, it has shown before how far it is willing to go. The question is, how far will they go this time?